One of the most common questions that I get is how do I store my fresh herbs? How long do they last? Why do they keep going bad? Well, I'm going to show you a few tricks that I've learned along the way to help extend the life to make sure they're crisp, they're fresh, and they're absolutely delicious in every single recipe that you do. I know you're going to love these techniques. Is there anything worse out there than when you plan to make a recipe, you start the prep, you go to grab your fresh herbs that you just bought the other day, by the way, and they're brown or wilted or have some sort of funky mold on them? I'm telling you, seriously, I've even done it a million times, and it is so incredibly frustrating. As I mentioned, I'm going to show you a few tricks to help stretch the life of those fresh herbs, whether you pulled them out of your garden or bought them from the store. They should last, every single one of these techniques, 1 to 2 weeks, if not more in some cases, which hopefully is awesome. So for now, let's pull out those fresh herbs and get cranking on these techniques. I've got quite a few different fresh herbs that I purchased from the local store. Of course, this applies to just about any single herb out there. It doesn't matter if you get it from the store or if you picked it from your garden. I've got an assortment of parsley, basil, dill, rosemary, thyme, and oregano. Now, the first thing that we need to do is recognize that we need a few things. Some small to medium-sized cups, some plastic zip bags, and of course, plenty of paper towels. To start though, we want to wash all of our herbs. I'm just going to grab the parsley, go right over to my sink, and cold water, and not on very high pressure, just gently rinse your herbs. Doesn't matter which herb, it's all the same process. And then what you want to do is give them a few flicks on the other side of the sink just to get rid of any excess water. Once that is completed, I'm just going to lay them down on a paper towel, let them sit at room temperature for maybe 10 minutes or so, sort of drain off any excess water. And of course, you could gently run it through a salad spinner as well if you have one. Now to store herbs such as parsley or cilantro or any soft stem herb. I'm going to add it to a medium-sized mason jar with the stems down in it. Add it about to the halfway mark with cold water. Once it is there, what you want to do at this point is take one of those plastic zip bags and put it over top. Now, what I like to do when I get to the bottom is sort of pinch in the ends just to make it as airtight as I possibly can. And again, think about this with soft stemmed herbs, whether it be dill, cilantro, parsley, fresh basil. Think of those soft stem things. Sage is even great. And what you do is you keep it in the refrigerator. Make sure that it is really cold in there because you don't want them to wilt, and you definitely don't want them to oxidize. So let's go ahead and run them right into the fridge. One of the other big questions I get along with how to store fresh herbs is where in the refrigerator do I put them? Well, first off, if you have a vegetable crisper and you can fit them in there, fantastic. You're going to need a big one for some of these techniques that I'm going to show you, obviously. But if not, put them on the lowest level of the refrigerator. Most often, refrigerators now have the air that come in through the top. And I bet you've had this happen before. If you have something in the top corner of your fridge, all of a sudden you've got ice on it. What does ice do? It helps, well, unfortunately, does not aid in preserving your food, but it will absolutely make it wilt, and it's going to really upset you. So if you can, lower shelf, and even better if you have a vegetable crisper. Now, for some of those more woody stemmed herbs like rosemary or oregano or thyme, even green onions or chives actually work for these few techniques. You see that hardwood stem? Here is what you need to do. I'm just going to fill up a mason jar about to the halfway point, and then what you want to do is sort of gently remove some of those thinner sprigs or stems of the herb, just like this. So for thyme, you sort of have this big bulky piece of fresh thyme, and I'm sort of taking off the individual little sprigs or stems just like this and placing them right in the cold water. They sort of just float in there. And the same exact thing for rosemary. Go down that long stem. Most of those little rosemary leaves are in little bunches. You can see it perfectly here. Add them right to that cold water, make sure they're submerged, and then go to the fridge. Now, another great way, and this would actually work with any herb, is wet a paper towel with some cold water and then squeeze out as much of that water as you possibly can into the sink. Head right over to your countertop. and spread it out all over. Now, this can be sometimes a little bit difficult because it gets all bunched up, but no big deal. Just spread it out as best you can. And then you'll take a bunch of your rinsed and dried herbs and place them on one side. And then all you do, my friends, is simply roll it up from left to right to left. Does not matter here. Once it is rolled up, though, it does depend on the storage. So you can go right into a plastic zip bag and make sure it's zipped up, or you can put it into a container that has an airtight lid. It goes right to the refrigerator. Again, this will actually work with any herb. This technique is foolproof. You can use chives, parsley, cilantro, does not matter. But I like this and the other one for the woody stems. Well, let's just say you're at the end of the life of the herbs, whether you haven't had a chance to use one of these techniques or you use them and you just have no more recipes to put these herbs in. Here is an awesome way to help preserve them. I know you will absolutely love this. Here we go. So I've got a few ice cube trays that I picked up. These are more rubber silicone, so they pop out really, really easily. What I'm going to do is just add in some whole herb leaves. Now, you can do this with any herb. It can be parsley, cilantro, does not matter. If you don't want to use the whole sort of herb that you've pulled off the stem, you can absolutely slice them. Doesn't matter if it's chives, if it's rosemary, basil, all is good here. Divide them evenly through your little ice cube trays, and then what I like to do is add in extra virgin olive oil. Now, you can use another favorite oil if you'd like. It's completely up to you. I'm Sicilian, so olive oil it is, my friends. Just fill it up to the top, and these come with a little lid, which is kind of cool, so I'm just going to pop them on there, and then I'm going in the freezer to freeze. These will last up to 6 months, and these are pure gold. You will absolutely love these. And think of all the usage occasions. Finish a pasta with it. Finish some cooked vegetables with it. Heat it up in a pan and cook a steak or chicken breast in it. There's so much flavor in these infused olive oils now with fresh herbs. It's such a great way to use all this. I know you'll use it. And for some reason, if you do not have an ice cube tray, I'm pretty sure they sell them from the dollar store. So hopefully you can pick some up. And to my comies, to all my chefs in training out there, my junior chefs that are following me around the kitchen to learn all the intricacies, I'm telling you, it's about these fundamental, simple techniques. And when you put them into practice, you will become that much better of a home cook and hopefully one day a chef. Knowing now how to use all of these fresh herbs, how to store them, and even extend the life in the freezer using that last trick. And I say it all the time. When you make things from homemade, your food will always taste better. It is a guarantee, my friends. Now, obviously, I don't have anything to plate up, but you can check out these beauties. No more throwing away fresh herbs, okay? I showed you how easy it is to store them and extend the life. I cannot wait to see the recipes that you use them in. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, like and share this video, and of course, check out this video right here. You will love it, and I'll see you on there. This is how you do it.